Repair technicians have a blacklist, not speakers this time. Amplifiers, the ones they refuse to work on twice, the ones they warn their friends about. Stay until brand 4, that name will genuinely surprise you. Today, the list goes public. Modern Onkyo. Walk into any major electronics retailer and you will find Onkyo receivers loaded with HDMI inputs, Dolby Atmos decoding, and dazzling feature lists. To a repair technician, this product category is a rolling catastrophe. The fundamental engineering crime is what the repair community calls HDMI board failure. It is so widespread that Onkyo was forced to extend warranties on affected models from 2009 through 2012, all the way into 2018. Here is what actually happens. The HDMI boards were fitted with electrolytic capacitors rated at 85 degrees when the correct specification should have been 105 degrees. Receivers generate enormous heat in normal operation. Those under-specified capacitors degrade under constant thermal stress, lose their capacitance, and eventually fail. Technicians report seeing affected Onkyo units come back through the shop 2 or 3 times within 2.5 years with identical failures. But the HDMI problem is only the beginning. Every amplifier contains dozens of electrolytic capacitors. In the golden era, manufacturers like Marantz, Sansui, and Pioneer used high-grade capacitors rated for tens of thousands of hours. Today, the capacitors in a budget AV receiver are selected not for longevity, but for price per unit. Your amplifier sounds fine on day 1. It begins a slow, invisible decline you will not notice until the day it simply refuses to turn on. Onkyo filed for bankruptcy in 2022 and was absorbed by Sharp and a subsidiary of Vox. Any guarantee of engineering continuity is effectively zero. The technicians know this. That is why they do not buy it. Modern Marantz. Let me be clear about something first. The golden era. Marantz silver-face receivers of the 1970s belong among the most durable, musically pure audio devices ever manufactured. A well-maintained Marantz 2270 from 1973 still fetches between $2,000 and $3,300 on the vintage market today. It earns every penny. That is the Marantz of the past. Modern Marantz is now under Harman International, a subsidiary of Samsung Electronics. This follows a corporate journey from Sound United through Massimo, a medical technology company with zero audio engineering background, and now into the Samsung family. For many modern Marantz owners, the frustration starts once the honeymoon period is over. Several documented cases describe failures occurring right around the end of the warranty window. In one instance, a unit reportedly died the day after coverage expired with no support from the company. A repair technician who opens the chassis of a modern Marantz receiver does not find the solid, discretely wired circuit topologies of the 1970s. They find densely populated multi-layer boards with surface mount components that cannot be individually replaced when they fail. You replace the entire board. If that board is no longer stocked by the manufacturer, you have a very expensive problem with no solution. Here is what the industry will never put in a brochure. The great amplifiers of the 1970s were built around large, heavy toroidal transformers. These components created a reservoir of clean, stable power that could handle the dynamic swings of music without flinching. A well-built transformer has no moving parts, nothing to degrade. It simply works. Today, in pursuit of slimmer enclosures and lower shipping costs, the industry has moved almost entirely to switching power supplies. Switching power supplies introduce high-frequency noise into the audio signal. The engineers know this. They traded your listening experience for a cheaper freight bill. Buy a silver-face Marantz from the vintage era. Leave the new one on the shelf. Denon, modern audio-visual receivers. Denon shares the same corporate structure as Marantz, same parent company, same ownership journey, same engineering compromises, but the Denon story has an additional chapter that no other brand on this list can match for sheer audacity. In 2020, Denon launched its flagship audio-visual receivers with HDM 2.1, marketed specifically to customers who wanted to future-proof their home cinema. The marketing was explicit. This receiver would handle 4K at 120 Hz. This receiver was built for the next generation of gaming and streaming. Within months of launch, it became clear the HDMI 2.1 implementation was broken. Not marginally underperforming, broken. The receivers could not pass the signals they had been sold to pass. Sound United, the company behind Denon at the time, acknowledged the issue after sustained customer pressure and launched an adapter kit 6 months after the original launch date. An external adapter box to fix a problem that should not have existed in the product at launch. The customers who paid premium prices for a future-proof product were given a workaround. The technicians were not surprised. Your amplifier from 2018 does not support EARC. Your amplifier from 2020 cannot reliably pass 4K at 120 Hz. Your amplifier from 2023 will not support whatever comes next. This is not a flaw. It is a feature. The industry has built a fundamental obsolescence cycle into the heart of its products by tying audio hardware to a video connectivity standard that changes every few years. Before brands 4 and 5, if this is the kind of content you want more of, subscribe now. No sponsored gear, no manufacturer relationships, just what the technicians know. Brand 4 is the one that is going to surprise you most. It is a name this community trusts completely. Here is why that trust may be misplaced. And this is the one I told you to wait for. Cambridge Audio, specifically their network integrated amplifier range. Cambridge Audio has earned genuine respect in the audiophile community for decades. Their amplifiers from the 1990s and the early 2000s are consistently praised for honest, musical performance at accessible price points. The brand's heritage is real, which is exactly why what happens inside their modern network amplifiers is so uncomfortable to acknowledge. The Cambridge Audio Evo series costs between $1,500 and $2,000. It is software dependent. It requires an app. It integrates with streaming platforms that Cambridge Audio does not control. Forum reports from verified owners consistently document that Cambridge Audio's Stream Magic platform has received updates that removed functionality without warning or rollback option, though Cambridge Audio has not officially acknowledged the issue. Features that existed when the product was purchased simply stopped existing after an update. The hardware is still physically intact. The user experience changed because a decision was made in a product meeting. A repair technician cannot fix a software decision, and a product whose core functionality depends on a company's ongoing development commitment is a product whose lifespan is controlled by someone other than you. The most expensive mistake you can make right now. Naim Audio. Naim is not a mass-market brand. Naim is the brand that serious audiophiles point to when they want to demonstrate they have moved beyond the mainstream. Their amplifiers cost between $2,000 and $20,000. Their customer base is passionate, loyal, and knowledgeable, which makes what repair technicians say about modern Naim products all the more striking. Naim's entire modern product ecosystem, the Unity series, the network streamers, the Muso wireless speakers, is built on a proprietary platform that ties hardware functionality to server infrastructure that Naim controls. When a streaming service changes its API, Naim must push a firmware update for the product to continue working. When Naim discontinues software support for an older model, the product loses functionality it shipped with. In 2022, Naim was acquired by Focal Naim Group, which itself operates under the ownership of Vervent Audio Group. The brand that customers trusted as an independent British audio company now operates inside a corporate structure with different priorities. The hardware engineering inside Naim products remains exceptional. The mechanical quality is genuine. But a $2,000 amplifier, whose streaming functionality depends on software updates from a company navigating a corporate acquisition, is a $2,000 amplifier with an expiration date you did not agree to. The technicians know what they cannot fix. A server that no longer exists is one of them. So what should you actually buy? The technicians have already answered this question for themselves. Their racks tell you everything. For pure 2-channel stereo, the answer has not changed in 50 years. A classic integrated amplifier from the 1970s or early 1980s, a Pioneer SA9500, a Sansui AU719, a Marantz 2270, professionally serviced with fresh capacitors and cleaned controls. For a few $100s, you own a machine built with honest engineering that the modern industry has completely abandoned. It will not stream music from your phone. It will not decode Dolby Atmos. It will still be working in 2050. If you need a modern amplifier, the rule is simple. Buy the minimum feature set you actually need. Every streaming module, every HDMI input, every app integration is a dependency you did not have before, and a failure point that did not exist. An Emotiva Bass X at $549, a Purify or Hypex based integrated from March Audio or Buckeye amps between $1,000 and $1,500. Clean amplification, no software, no server, no expiration date. The amplifier that sounds best in 10 years is the one that still works in 10 years. Prices mentioned are US-based estimates. Check your local market. Here is the principle I want you to take away from this video. One sentence. The best amplifier is the one that does not need a server to work. Buy analog where you can, buy simple where you cannot, and never pay a premium for complexity you cannot control. The technicians already live by this rule. Their vintage racks are the proof. Now you know why. If this saved you from an expensive mistake, subscribe. Do you still own a piece of vintage hi-fi equipment, or have you already replaced it with something modern? Drop it in the comments. See you next time.